Okay, yeah, we can get started whenever.
You want to go ahead?
Alrighty, so the first question we have is tell us about yourself, the major, the year you graduated, where you transferred from, and kind of what you're doing now, Donnet.
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of overall my whole experience transferring from my community college to UCSD has definitely been a whole journey. Um, Definitely transferred as a communications major from Ventura College in 2018. And then my first quarter here, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change my major to international studies just because I don't know, I just wanted to enjoy my classes. Didn't really have to change my major, but it definitely helped me kind of stay motivated and like what I was learning. Right now, I do work in higher ed. I've definitely had a history of working in higher education with either transfer students or first year students like I am doing now. Right now, I'm a summer program assistant for Summer Bridge. So we help a lot of students transition from high school life to university life. Um, so yeah, I think definitely been involved with specifically underserved and first generation populations, and we do a lot of again transitional work, get people acclimated to the campus life. Very fun work, very human and student centered, and based, I would say. A lot of the work we base is like not just academics, right? But we try to focus on like making sure that we get to know the student from a holistic perspective, right? Making sure that their mental health is doing well, just as their academics or careers and personal.
Okay, perfect. And then we're going to transition to our next question. You can go ahead and think on this, but how was your transfer experience here at UCSD?
Yeah. So my transfer experience at UCSD was definitely a short one. Transferring from community college to UCSD was definitely like a big step in my academics. And I wish I would have been here a little longer. I definitely thought about like taking an extra year just to kind of really intake a lot of the experience and like networking with people. I did feel like it was a really short time. So I feel like during my first year, I did an internship on my spring quarter just because I thought I feel like I need to get some experience while I'm here. I only have 2 years, like I have to kind of do this now. So yeah, I would say it felt a little rushed, but I would say like if I were to go back, I would definitely focus more on networking as much as I could, as much as possible. I would still do the internship that I did because that also was really helpful in like teaching me like what I'm good at, like learning what I'm good at, learning what I don't want to do. Um, it was an internship to work in public government. I definitely liked the work. It was really interesting. It was as far as like organizational communication. As far as like the industry, like I don't think I would enjoy really working in the government anymore, just personal opinion of personal decisions. And I think all of us have those, right? Like, but I think it's good to do certain experiences to learn more about yourself. So yeah, I guess I would still do the internship if I were to go back to the internship. I would network with people and really just like enjoy as much as I can, right? Like try not to like stress over what I can control for sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and if you're ready, our next question is what skills from community college and UCSD, inside and outside the classroom, did you apply towards what you're doing now?
So I think advocating for myself is a big one. Advocating for oneself is definitely important because I think there's only so much that certain people can do for you, right? Like, I think it really comes down to like knowing what you want to do, what you want to get out of a specific experience, right? Like, if your goal at UCSD, right, is to like get a career or explore a career, like definitely use the support that's available there. And if you think that like it wasn't helpful or like you still have more questions, like you have to kind of dig and kind of like continue to ask what the next question is. So like, who else could help me? Like, what other strategies I could do? Because I think sometimes coming to higher ed, it's really easy to kind of just like take no for an answer. And I think there's times as a student that we have to remember that when someone tells us no, it's okay to be like, huh, like, is there a good reason for that? Like, maybe I could appeal this decision. Like, is there a way, and is there a gray area to this decision, right? Like, I think a lot of us kind of experience that, whether if it's like appealing a grade, right? Like changing a major, changing colleges. I think it all comes down to like really advocating for yourself and really like, if there's something that you want to get done, really talk to the people that's necessary you need to talk to. So I think for me, it was just learning how to like voice what I needed and really learning how to seek my support system.
All right, thank you for your answer. So our next question is going to be from a transfer lens specifically, what hardships have you faced in any or all aspects of your journey to where you are now?
For sure. I mean, some of the hardships experienced through my transfer journey, definitely different, there's different ones for sure. I think I think one of the main ones is definitely like, I think mental health is a topic that we've been normalizing and talking about now, which is great. And I think it's one that needs to be talked about more. Because yeah, I think there's this concept, right, that we hear a lot where it's like related to imposter syndrome and kind of what kind of effect that has on a student, especially when you're out here by yourself, right? Like when like a lot of people when they transfer, right, like you kind of move out of your house for the first time, or you're like going somewhere else for the first time, right? So you're kind of doing this alone, right? And I think for my experience, right, as a first generation transfer student, like I didn't really have parents that were like, yo, you need to do this, or this is what you need to do in order to get experience in that major. Like I kind of had to figure it out myself. And a lot of those things about figuring it out like yourself is really like figuring out like when you need certain mental health support too. Like there was definitely times like during school where I was like skipping classes, or I was like, bed rotting, not feeling too great. And then at that time, right, like I didn't notice it was a pattern, but I think now thinking back about it is like, yeah, like I should have definitely reached out to someone, which at some point I did, right? But the sooner the better, the sooner the better that you can reach out to people, the faster, obviously, like, you'll get that support. But definitely, I would say like mental health and just navigating navigating issues like that and navigating it with community of friends was definitely something that was very helpful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that response. Um, our second to last question is, do you have any advice for transfer students when they're trying to find jobs in the fields of the study that they're in?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think going back a little bit to what I mentioned about advocating, for sure, like use the resources available to you like on campus, like keep um keep the people running on the campus accountable, right? Like whether if it's a career center, like a college advisor, like if you need help, reach out to them and make sure that they're helping you. And if they, if there's some feedback that you need to offer to them so they can better serve you, that's also an idea. That's also possible, right? Um, so definitely like advocating for yourself when it comes to those resources available to you. The other thing is like there's only so much that people can do, right, to help you with navigating certain things. I always definitely like, if I can go back in time too and like change some of the things that I did, some stuff that I'm doing now as well, right, is just really doing the research that needs to be done, right? Like sitting down and just doing research about like what specific career you want to go to. Um, do research about like what kind of positions are available within the major. There's certain websites, right? Like Bureau of Labor and Statistics, where you can find like different occupations. You can find how much the occupation is growing within the next year, how much is you're getting paid, right? Like in the occupation. So there's stuff out there, right? I think it's just like sometimes it takes time to like sit down and like really doing this on your own, because a lot of this is also like just knowledge, right, that we don't know. Like, for example, this website, right? Like when I first heard about it, I was like, whoa, what? That exists? I did not know that. So definitely like doing some research and like um shadowing people, looking into internships, getting setting up a LinkedIn, right? Like setting up like business cards. If you have like work that you've done, whether if it's a writing samples or any artistic visual work, have like a portfolio somewhere so that people can like look at that. If you can put, if you ever meet someone, right, and then they're like interested about knowing what kind of stuff you do, you can just pull it out and be like, yo, check this out. So yeah, just kind of optimizing like different projects that you've done or like highlights that you've done as well, so that you can show it to people that might need to look at it someday.
Perfect. Thank you. And so our last formal question is how can students get connected with current alumni, and also what made you want to reconnect with the school?
I actually have a question about that question. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Like
go ahead.
for the last part of the question, can you mean what made me reconnect with sort of kind of like the community again?
Yes, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. So to answer the first part of the question, how can students get connected with alumni? I would say um that's an interesting question. I think the way that students can get connected with alumni is different ways. Like obviously like right, like if there's any events related to alumni, that you immediately see within your organization or programs that you're involved in, like take advantage of those, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like try to make the best of like just showing up, and like meeting a couple people. If you can make it, if you can make those events or you're trying to find those events, also rely on you on any program that you're a part of, because most institutions do have an alumni organization. So I
Mm.
think it's just more about like finding out how to get involved. And there's stuff going on campus all the time. Definitely LinkedIn again. I'm not even sponsored by LinkedIn, I swear, but LinkedIn is also good because you can add people and you can kind of see like people that might have worked or that might have been at UCSD as a student before. I've done it before where like I'm on LinkedIn and I see people that were in my cohort, but I didn't know about. Like I reach out to them and I'm like, yo, like like how's it going? Like I see that you have this new position that's super dope. Like I want to learn more about that. There's different creative ways to doing it for sure. And I think those are a couple of them.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And so that's all for our formal questions. So if you have any closing remarks, this is your space, or anything else you want to say, this is your space to do it. But otherwise, that's the end of the interview portion.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, just definitely want to say like for any new students, like, any new transfer students coming in, take advantage of like the resources here and the community. And then I'll say that again, like take advantage of the resources and the community. Like the university is here for you, like it's here to work for you. Like you're paying fees here. So that's why it's like always remind people to keep people accountable, right? Like keep your programs accountable, like people, like your professors, anyone that you're working with, and being in community with people. Like at the end of the day, like I think it's like university, right? It's pretty gnarly. Like you really work a lot, and then sometimes you feel kind of like down, like everything's kind of hard, overwhelmed, and you feel alone. But always come back to your community because your people are the ones that are gonna be able to like support you and kind of like just help you navigate all of that.
Yeah.